What's up, YouTube? How's everybody doing? I hope everyone is doing great as usual. Thank you guys for all your support. I want to apologize. I didn't make a video in over a week. I usually try to make one once a week, but things get hectic with work, with life, and things just get crazy. But nonetheless, while I was gone, I was waiting for my S90D, and it's here. As you guys can clearly see, we have three TVs in a row. To the left, we have the Sony A95L in the 77-inch. In the middle, we have the LG G4, also in the 77-inch, and my new baby right over here in the 77-inch, the Samsung S90D. So I'm happy that I got the TV, guys. I'm just, happy with it. I love the TV. I did get to spend a lot of time with the TV as far as being able to just have them side by side like they are right now and just kind of observing the TVs on my own. And let me tell you guys, you know, the S90D is definitely a force to be reckoned with. I mean, colors, guys, obviously, with it being that it's a QD OLED, they're just full of life. That's the best way to explain it. Just vibrant. It is just on point, especially when it comes to 4K HDR gaming. It is just a monster. Man, I just don't even know what else to say. Um, but I do want to just talk about what I've noticed. And as far as picture quality, I will get a little bit more in depth with it, but this is just a short video just to kind of talk about what I've noticed and let you guys know I did not forget about you. So the first thing I want to cover between all three of these TVs is which one is the best for color. I think that's probably the most popular question. Which one has the best color? And side by side, another popular question is which is the brightest, and specifically in game mode, because I know I cover mostly a lot of 4K HDR gaming with these TVs. That is just my favorite thing to do with them. And then 4K HDR movies, especially physical disc, that's like my second favorite reason why I like to use these TVs. And then obviously I use them for everything else beyond that. But those are my two primary use cases with all three of my TVs. And I have them kind of scattered out throughout the house and use them for, for different reasons and things like that. So anyways, but the S90D by far has the best color. It just, the color in it is just amazing. Overall, you can't beat the color on the S90D. I think that's kind of always been the case, even tracking back a few years ago when the Samsung came out with their new QD OLED tech anyways. They just always had the best color and best vibrancy, best color purity, and things like that. And it's just improved, basically, is the way to explain it. It's just gotten to the point where it's just it's just full of life, and I love it. So whatever improvements Samsung has made to get to the point of where it's at right now, especially on their second tier flagship, is just amazing. I know a lot of people out there aren't even that much of a fan of the S95D, primarily because of that matte finish. It is a brighter TV, my understanding. It can get brighter for over, I think, 400 or 500 nits, or even higher than that. But again, guys, besides that, the S90D still is a little bit brighter than the S90C, is my understanding. I never had the S90C. I did have the S95C. I don't think it's as bright as last year's S95C. I still think the S95C still overall looks a little bit better on like your first impression when you turn the TV on out the box and you just pop a game in and things like that. And I think it just kind of is more eye-catching. But again, that's just a personal opinion. But the S90D is a different kind of awesome. It is like more of like it's the value, like what you get for your money. So the color pops more than a G4, which is a G4, which a G4 is more money, and the colors look better than the A95L in my personal opinion. But again, the A95L has its own separate purpose of why it's my favorite TV, and it's not always 100% because of the color. It is because what else it can do and the processing behind Sony and how cinematically beautiful the TV looks, things like that. That is not, to me, why I purchase an S90D or even the G4, although the G4 still definitely has improved its like cinematic beauty is the way I like to explain it. But anyways, don't mean to change the subject. So when it comes to color, definitely the S90D. That's just what I noticed right off the bat. It's that simple. The camera will not serve justice as to how good the TV looks. So I'm sorry to burst anyone's bubble when it comes to that. Yes, I do think specifically in game mode that the G4 has improved its color over the G3. It's got brighter, the colors are more noticed, the colors pop a little bit better. They're not as dim in game mode, but honestly, guys, when it comes to, let's say, because I had the G3 last year, when it comes to, let's say, watching movies, and I said this in my other videos too, 4K HDR or streaming or anything like that in 4K, low bitrate content, whatever it may be, I always thought that there was really not that much of a difference at all between the G3 and the G4. That's just my personal opinion. I think I just truly feel like the biggest difference that you notice with your eyes as far as picture quality goes with the G4 is in game mode. And overall, whether you're in game mode or other modes, movies, streaming, whatever, sports, you definitely get more clarity. That's the biggest improvement that I noticed as well, like fine details and things like that over last year's G3. So that new A11 processor is able to get, in my personal opinion, to, let's say, the clarity and fine details and look more QD-OLED, but QD-OLED more so for Sony because of the processing. They're very equal. When it comes to like, just going all out with color and things like that, I just feel like Samsung is the best at that. They have a way of just, letting their TVs let the colors just flow out of the panel, just burst out and just hit you in the face. And that's what I love about Samsung. They've always been known for that for years, even with their QLED TVs. I've had several of those in the past. That's why I always liked Samsung and have had so many Samsungs in the past, because nobody can beat them when it comes to color and things like that. It was just, especially back then. Now it is more competitive than ever, but especially back then. So they just always had that reputation, you know what I mean? And it shows even in their current TVs. They got the QD OLED technology, where they're the pioneers of that. They have the best color pop. Their details are really good. They've really refined on like that three-dimensional look in game mode, especially. It really does pop. But again, it is, to me, not my favorite out of all of them when it comes to 3D, to that 3D look. It's definitely by far the G4. The G3 looked amazing when it came to that 3D pop, but I'm telling you guys, I wish I could have everyone over my house so they can see for themselves. The G4 has the best three-dimensional look I've ever seen out of any TV I've ever owned in my entire life, point blank period. It is that good. The A95L is kind of like the happy medium that really checks off all the boxes, and that's what I kind of said. Even though it doesn't have the best 3D look, it still has a three-dimensional look. Even though it doesn't have the crazy color pop that Samsung has in their QD OLEDs, they kind of dialed it down a little bit because Sony has, I think a look that they're trying to, give off on their TVs or express, with how they like to for their TVs to look. So I feel like they did tone that down, but it still has really nice color gradients, uh, color accuracy, things like that. I mean, the way you can tune the TV, the processing is just smooth. The A95K, I was really not a fan that much of when it came to their motion. I just thought a lot of their LED TVs looked better in motion. I think that like their older motion processing was actually better than their newer motion processing. But I think with the A95L, I truly feel that they did improve that in like one shot, in like 1 year. They just made it look better. But anyways, these are just little things that I noticed as an owner of the TVs. When I use them all, I use them a lot, guys. I play with the settings like crazy. Right now, our tone mapping is off. Obviously, besides the S90D, the tone mapping cannot really be turned off. It's either you're at static or active. It's on static, so it's as close as possible to being off. Colors may look a little bit off because of the camera, but those are just things I noticed, specifically with color. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, even though color is very important to a lot of us or most of us, we don't want a TV that just sucks with color. We want a TV that has great, especially when you pay these premium prices. But you don't want a TV that just looks like it's gonna blind you with color either, where it just looks horrible. So, you know, everyone's going to have their own personal perception of how they want their color to look. The nice part is with all three of these TVs, you're going to be able to customize them pretty much the way you like them 95% of the way, unless you get it calibrated. You obviously would be able to, get more out of the TV with more precise tools. But other than that, I think a good 90% of us do not calibrate our TVs. So we do the best we can. And a lot of us really just want the best picture quality and want to just set it and forget it. There's a lot of people that do that too. So I don't recommend that. I recommend when you spend that kind of money, you really should get to know your TV and know what it's capable of doing. All right. But anyways, the next thing I want to talk about, guys, is although color is not or is important, it is not to me the end all be all. There's a lot of different aspects to, especially because I game so much and gaming is like a big part of my life. It is important to me to really get the most I possibly can to optimize or just, have a better overall experience when I'm gaming. And I think a lot of that has to do with like immersion. When you have these TVs, details, fine details, that three-dimensional look, those kinds of things start to prioritize, like just even subconsciously just start to prioritize in your mind of what's important to you over time. Because when you don't have those things, like if you go to someone's house and you game and you go to their house and they have, let's say, a decent 4K TV, maybe it's an LED, maybe it's even a QLED TV. You're even going to notice the difference by that, and they're going to tell you, oh yeah, my TV's new, I only got it like 2 years ago, it's great, I love it, oh my god, it's the best TV I ever had. And then you go there and you're like, all right, it is nice, I mean, it's a QLED TV, it's not like a 20-year-old LED, that was Best Buy only brand or something like that, or whatever the case is, like an Element or something. But what I'm saying is that you even notice the difference from what you have at home to when you go to someone else's houses, and with when you look at their TV, you just know it's more flat. The motion is just kind of all blurry. It looks like glitchy. It's you know, things like that. When you put on a game, the picture looks flat. There's not a lot of detail. There's, you know, even in decent 4K TV, you notice those things. And I can tell you right now, like when people come over and they look at my TVs and they say they just get wowed. They're like, I can't believe how these TVs look. Like even my son, you know, he'll come around and he'll say, "Oh my God!" Like when I'm gaming or something, he'll be like, "The picture looks so clear, Dad. Like, wow, it's crazy." And he's a big gamer himself, and he has a PC monitor, a really good one, an LG. I forgot what it is. I got it for him like last year, but anyways, that's what I noticed. So the G4 wins in that game, and I'm gonna show you what I mean as far as the details going and clarity goes. Um, So to me, it's either going to come down to what you guys personally like as far as what you will decide on your own. Again, I have the privilege of having all three TVs, so I'm just really sharing my experience and just trying to tell you guys what I see. So I'm going to give you guys an example really quick over here. We're going to go to this lightning bolt right here. All right. Now, I am going to pick up the camera and I'm going to get closer and do some close-ups here. So we're going to look at the S90D first. All right. Now we're going to get closer to the lightning bolt and we're going to try to look at the fine details. And I'm talking about, you see this round, like icy looking part of the bolt, not the electricity flashing through it, but just around it. You see how it has all these different details going around there, shades of color. It's supposed to look like crystal clear, like you're looking through a glass, right? And it does look really, really good. Like, see how nice and crystal clear that looks? Let's go to, I don't even have to get that close to the TV with the camera. You can see right off the bat how much more clear and detailed that bolt looks right there. Amazing. I mean, and then we'll get closer and it looks even more clear. Look at that. You see that, guys? I hope you do. I hope my camera is picking that up. But that's what I notice. All right. And then we're going to go to the A95L. And remember, guys, I love this TV. I bought two of them. All right. Two A95L 77 inches because that's how much I thought this TV, that's how unbeatable I thought this TV was. And look, it's even more crystal clear and detailed than that. And that's what processing does, guys, right there. All right. So yeah, you know, the LG G4 is better as far as fine details and clarity goes. It's just by default because of the newer processor. That's what processing does, guys. So I just wanted to point that out, how important that is to somebody like me who has had these TVs for so long. If you're really looking for the best, most detailed, most fine, fine details, if you're looking for still good enough color, you know, it is a WOLED, so you're not going to get the color purity that you're going to get out of a QD OLED. And that's the whole reason why I got a QD OLED, because that spoils me too. You know, the G4 is going to be the winner right there. It's just, I don't really know what else or how else to explain it, but that's just as blunt and clear as I can possibly be. The G4 is definitely the winner there. And I'm telling you guys, when you love that clarity so much like I do, when you love that 3D dimensional pop like I do, a lot of times that color that you get spoiled by with a QD OLED TV just kind of goes away. It really, really does. Because it's like, I don't know, once you just have the TV and you notice it, you never want that to go away. To me, Fine details really do matter the most, or at least damn near right on the top of the list for priorities of what I want in a TV. And I do feel that the better the clarity you can get, or the better the fine details you can get natively without having to turn on enhancements and things like that within the settings, I feel like the better the TV is, because it uses less enhanced features and processing and still gives you a better picture. Now, for me, in order for a TV to do that, says a lot. And that's what LG does, in my personal opinion, guys. It just that flat out. So the S90D is like my new favorite TV for best color. All right. The LG G4 is probably my new best overall, but it's still pretty much even with the A95L. And the reason why I say that is because you still get a lot of fine detail with the A95L, not as much as the G4, but you still get more color out of the A95L. So this is that, like, to me, the A95L is as close to possible, as perfect as it can possibly be still, because it kind of checks two boxes off more evenly than the the G4 does, because the G4 color still struggles a lot with a lot of different colors. Although, yeah, they have improved in game mode specifically, but I don't think there was a huge improvement in, let's say, watching a 4K HDR. I actually think a lot of times that I remember the G3 looking a little bit better with color than the G4 does out of game mode. But again, there's trade-offs there too. So, but yeah, that's my overall, thought on the TVs right now, guys. Again, I just kind of got the S90D, so give me some more time. I can't wait to, really compare the TVs even more. But the last thing I want to talk about before I let you go, which is just going to be 1 minute, is we know that the TV has a more three-dimensional look to it, as far as if watch my channels. I talk about it a lot. I notice it, guys, and I don't care what TV to me gives me the better 3D pop. I have them, so whatever TV can provide me that is the TV I'm going to like more. But I just think that the LG G4 also has a more realistic look over all three TVs too. Like, what I mean by that is, like, if you look at this area right here, right? You see the fur and you see the axe laying on his back, right? And you see how nice and smooth that motion is, like how he's breathing up and down, and his shoulders are moving up and down, and the axe is kind of moving with him. See how it doesn't, like, it looks natural, like that's how it is in real life. If you go to the S90D, what I noticed, it doesn't look like that as much. It looks a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more artificial. It doesn't have that nice smooth motion in that area too. It just looks a tiny bit more cartoonish. Again, these are things I wouldn't even have noticed if I never had these TVs stacked up side by side. But we go to the A95L, and you see it has that really nice smooth motion, but it doesn't have as much 3D effect. Like, it kind of looks a little bit more flat and not as detailed. See that? And then look at all that fur, all the detail just moving along with the axe. All right, so that's all I really wanted to talk about, guys. So thank you. I really appreciate it. I will get back to you guys. I hope you found this somewhat helpful in, learning a different person's, just perspective and things like that. Obviously you can, go with what you prefer. It's your hard-earned money. And, If you guys can find a deal on last year's TVs, whether it's a Samsung, whether it's the LG, a C3, a G3, a S90C, or whatever it is, and none of this is really a priority to you, you just want a good deal on a good TV, then yeah, go for it. But I'm just trying to let you guys know what I experienced with these three TVs if you're interested in any of these right here. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.